All Hornets games are exciting. Like we always try and bring especially on defense, we always try and bring some excitement and put on a show. But I think now the offense is they're balling out too, and I think this is the first time I've seen a Hornets team where the offense and defense have kind of
match up.
Equal measure contributing. It was always the defense. I was always glad that I didn't play offense for Exiles when we played Hornets. But I think the offense this year it's going to be special.
Okay. So, all right. This one's going to be looking deep in yourself.
Yeah.
So, what do you believe to be one of your weaknesses, and what are you doing to improve it?
I think what I said earlier on. Sometimes I'm far too quick to react. So I might be taking a question away from later. But so on Amari's podcast, you asked him about a Facebook post where he called for someone's head.
Yeah.
That was all down to me and kind of overreacting, but kind of not. So what had happened is that we were due to play the Warriors, and I don't know if I was aware I was injured or what, but we were away. And one of their coaches posted something, I can't remember it, but basically saying about like people ducking out of playing the Warriors. I don't think he mentioned the Exiles specifically, but people not wanting to play Warriors, so they've all got holidays booked or something like that.
Yeah.
And and I've always been quite conscious of what Amari said about everyone viewing Kent like you can go down and chief them up and things like that. And I was a captain at the time, and I thought, I'm not having this. And some of the boys, and you do feel protective, I think, as a captain over some of the players, especially some of the younger players. So I messaged him and said, because he played for us for a little while, I put something on Instagram, said something to the effect of, those that can't play, coach, put some cones out and shut the fuck up, or something like that. I can't remember. In anger.
Oh.
He clapped back at me. And said about being mentally weak, that a post would annoy me. And I hit back again and said, if you want to kit up or put some pads on, then we can sort it out.
Oh.
Because I felt like people did try and intimidate some of the boys at Kent, and I feel like it was our responsibility to stand up and go, we're not about that anymore. This is not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
It's not going to fly, and especially on social media. And I felt like it was my job to do that as being one of the defensive captains of the team. So that all went off. Amari posted the bring me his head thing, and it all kind of blew up a little bit. Obviously after that, I spoke to the coach when we played Olympians. We shook hands and we put it to bed. But to be fair to him, he was half right with this mentally weak thing. Social media is social media. People can post any sort of crap they want to on there.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do feel like I was backing my team, but maybe you should have taken a higher road, and maybe it is a bit of a mental weakness to just react to your emotions and let someone's, I'm not saying he's insignificant, but insignificant post like trigger you to get into like this this social media like argument with someone. But I maintain that. I think the captain should back their team, and you should always support it. And I felt like he probably touched the nerve, because I was always conscious of what Amari said about Exiles being a team that you can come and chief up and being a load of try-hard white boys and stuff. And so I always felt the need to kind of back that. So sometimes, I'm far too emotional.
Okay, that's
about stuff.
Yeah, I can't really argue with it. So, was this coach at the Warriors, or was he Olympians at the time?
He was at the Olympians. So he was coming outside and talking about sort of this game. I mean, he had no vested interest in this game other than the fact that, who was going to win, which was clearly going to be the Warriors. But he made that comment. And to be fair, I think he did make it as a joke, but I took it all sorts of the wrong way. So if he wasn't, whatever.
Oh, okay. So I can understand why you were triggered so much, because it is kind of a, why are you talking? Like, it kind of, I get that. I get it completely. I understand. Do you know the coach's name by any chance?
I do. His name's Paul Crockford. But I hope he doesn't mind me putting his name out there. But I think, we put everything on social media so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
But I have got to say, he shook my hand at the end of it. I shook his, and it was sorted after that. But at the time, it was beef. But I think it just is what it is. But it just got out of hand. But that was me getting triggered. I've got all the, I can give you all the good intentions of what about me backing my team, but it was me getting triggered at the end of the day.
But hey, you're backing your team. Even if it is at the slight anger, it is what it happens. Everyone does it, and I can't find one person that wouldn't do it. So you did what you thought
You
was right.
you got to back your team always. It's important, and like we had it with Kent for a while. Like Murray was right. That Kent. When I joined Kent, they were a team that just come up from Div 2, and they were a load of ballers that were playing on a Sunday for the love of the game. It only started to change a couple of years in when these boys were like, if we want to make a go at this,
yeah,
and we want to get into the Prem, the culture needs to change a little bit. We need to be a little bit more aggressive, and we need to be a little bit more about it. And not everybody between the lines. I'm not going to laugh and joke with you. I don't, me and you aren't boy afterwards is fine.
Yeah.
And we'd see. I talk about Hornets turn up, be aggressive. Not not be kind of friendly to. And I think the boys sometimes would get a bit intimidated by that. And I think that's why people don't like Kent, because they turn up, a load of try-hard white boys. Apparently, you've got all of the facilities. They've got this, they've got that, they've got the other, and they think, well, we're just going to work them. And they used to get clapped.
Yeah.
And that's why people don't like Kent, because Kent are always there, always in the chat. They're like they're not, but they're working towards something, and they're building towards something. And people would turn up thinking we're going to absolutely slap these boys and lose, and not work out why they're getting beat by a load of try-hard white boys.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So that sort of leads on to another question that I was wondering. Were you there the season when the Olympians dropped down to Division 1?
No, I've always been. No, Olympians. I've always played against the Olympians before they went up, so I wasn't there when they dropped down.
Okay, so they were always in. Were they always in the Prem, or?
No, they were always. So my first years in Div 1, Olympians were there. So maybe I've been playing as long before. Maybe it's only been 6 years, but I've always played the Olympians until they went up. What, 4 years ago now?
Okay, so that is that. So you started the year that Olympians had dropped down from the Prem.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm guessing. Wait, did you play them 4 times that season, or was it 3 times? Yeah. It was 3 times. 4 times, right? It was. Okay, so it is that season. That is the exact same season I'm thinking of. Okay, so I actually wanted to know what was everyone on Kent's team that year? What was their mindset? Because I know obviously when I looked on social media, they were saying that how they're the best team in Div 1 and that they were going to get promoted, and then that didn't exactly happen the way that a lot of people thought. What was the mentality?
Who's that, Kent or Olympia?
Kent.
I think the mentality for Kent, there's rivalries over football, but Kent and the Olympians, it always seemed to be a rivalry. I always know that the coaches at Kent always want to beat the Olympians. Yeah. Always. Like, it's one of them things. I always want to beat the Olympians. I'm always happy when Kent beat the Olympians. I will always be happy when Kent beat the Olympians. It is what it is. But yeah, it was a season where we thought we could, we really could do something. And I think to lose to the Olympians was tough, but you can only take it that these teams have come down from the Prem, and this is the standard. Not only are they beating us, but they've just been knocked out of the Prem. Yeah. So it gives you that. Hold on a minute. If we want to be competing with the Blitz and eventually the Warriors, this is a standard you want to get to. And I think that was the season where I started to pay attention to the Prem, and I realised that this is going to be a controversial statement, but if you are playing competitive American football in the UK,
yeah,
it is us versus the Warriors. Doesn't matter who you play for, it is the Warriors versus everybody. And I think you should train and work and shoot at the Warriors, because if you can beat them, you can beat everybody else. And everybody else is kidding themselves. All respect to Tamworth, Manchester, everybody, but it is the Warriors versus everybody. And it's been like that since I started playing, I think.
Okay, I can understand that. I can understand that statement. Annoyingly, I can't disagree with it as much, but I do understand it.
Yeah, I knew that. I know playing for the Blitz is tough, but that's the benchmark, And once someone works out how to unravel the Warriors, then they're going to go on to big things, I think.
Yeah, I agree to a point. I have to agree to a point. I can't be 100% on that one. They are potentially. I believe that something will happen. Well, do you believe that a team would be? Better fact, Do you believe that the Hornets will defensive front? Because Omari did say in the first episode. Do you think that the Hornets defensive front is better than the defensive fronts in other Premiership teams?
I do. I don't think it's better than the defensive front in all Premiership teams.
Okay.
I do think it's better than the defensive front in most.
Okay. Could you give us... All right, so there's 6 teams in the South. 6 teams in the South. Are they top 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
I think I'm going off of me playing. Like say maybe last year, I've not played a lot of. I'm not like Amari can he'll reel you off like players this and players for that. He watches players. For me, I don't. I'll scout. I'll watch game film. I'll scout the players that I need to scout for my game.
Yeah.
People that I meet. I hope they do well and stuff. But I'm not really good with. But I've not looked at a lot of Prem games this year. But from when I played, absolutely they'd be a competitive D line. And funnily enough, and I think this is the key to some of the success in Brit Bowl in general. Our O line is very good this year, and I think that's a bit unique in BAFA. I think to have a good O line is like gold, and they've got a good O line this year.
O linemen are spare to none.
Yeah. So you can the lines control the game, and I think I'd think the Hornets lines would give anyone a competitive game.
Okay. So, how have the past teams you've been on made you a better player? So, how have Exiles and Hornets, how have they made you a better player?
I think Exiles is just a structure. I think people look at Kent a lot and think, they've got all this, they've got this nice ground, and they've got this and that and whatever. But they worked long and hard for that. You've got to remember that Kent are probably one of the longest running American football teams in the country. So they've spent a lot of time building this, and they've spent a lot of time building their youth program, and the coaches that have come from that have been really good. Their coaching's good, their feedback's good. Neo coming was massive for me. I think the coaches that I had at Exiles before, I can't lose and just walk it off and be like, never mind, we'll push on to the next one. I need to throw something, stamp around, do whatever I need, sulk for 24 hours or whatever, and then move on again. And I feel like if people aren't as passionate as me about it, it aggravates me.
Yeah.
And I think the coaches that can let me do that, the coaches there very much try and improve themselves as well. Not all of them, but most.
Yeah.
And they kind of bring that back and they put a lot of time into it. So I felt like I got the basis and the foundation and fundamentals from Ken. Then Neo came and kind of was like, look, just play for your chest. You've got to put some passion into this, because if we're not having fun, it's not about it. And then I've gone to Hornets and Coach P's like just taking that tenfold. So I feel like I've got a grounding and the basis from Ken. And then I've gone to Hornets and he's like, right, just do what I brought you here for. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So, all right. So I've played under Neo and I know how amazing he is. How did you, when Neo came in, was it a shock to your system at the way that he wanted you to play? Or were you like, I finally get to be free?
To be honest, Neo coming was the reason I stayed that extra year. It was one of the reasons I stayed, because Neo was always like the head coach at Olympians that kept working out how to beat us.
Yeah.
And he was the one that coined that whole Fab Five thing with Amari, funnily enough. So I knew Neo from before, like we used to talk and stuff. And then when he came, and then he brought Coach Junior and Coach Malcolm and some other coaches, and the players that they brought as well, I thought, actually, this is looking like an environment that I want to experience myself. Going back to your question, it's weird because he let you play how you wanted to play, but I don't think I ever got a compliment from Neo until about mid-season. It would always be a compliment, but do you know what I mean? Like it'd be like, great sack, but your first step was too slow, or whatever, but you're getting up too high, or it was always a but something. Yeah. But everything that he said, worked. He was a great coach, so he I just used to do my best to listen to him, because everything he kind of tried to get me to do worked for me. So, that's exactly what you want from a coach. And he had the same passion for it as us. And it is what I've been missing.
Yeah, yeah. I can agree with your every type of feeling that you're probably feeling right now about it.
Yeah, he's a
So,
great guy.
so if you saw a teammate struggling to learn a sort of new move or a play, how would you help them get over that?
I think it would depend on how I felt about that move and that play.
Okay.
If they were, for example, a defensive end where I feel like, and it was something that I felt like I knew well enough to work with them on, and absolutely, I'd sit down and talk to them and work with them and stuff. If not, then I'd have a chat to them and say, look, go and speak to this person, go and speak to Michael, go and speak to Ives, go and speak to whoever, and put them in the right direction, because I think there's nothing worse than those players that want to give advice but can't really do it themselves, or do you know what I mean? There's nothing worse than that. And I think I coached my first season coaching this year. I coached at King's College Regents.
Oh.
That's a great group of lads, but that's a process too, because whether you're a good player, bad player, or whatever, I think a lot of people make the mistake of thinking because you're a player you can coach, and I think they're totally different skill set. So yeah, I'll try and point them in the right direction, but I'm happy people took the time with me, and I think we all need to pay it forward. All the better players, or any players, need to take the time with new players or inexperienced players that the veterans took with us when we were young. That's the only way that this game's going to progress.
Okay. So, well, seeing as we're talking about coaching and everything, so what coach or athlete that you've played with do you look up to as a role model, and why?
Ooh. There's a load, but for different reasons. Like John Moore, I think I've a lot of respect for John Moore. He's a really good head coach. Really, he's a bit of a student of the game. Like John has. I made a lot of predictions in this. I'm trying not to go overboard, but I think John, he's realistic about it. He's realistic about Kent's ability and where they're going to go, and he knows the beating Warriors is a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
But he's got that plan. I've never seen him fail in anything.
Okay.
Getting to Div 1, getting to Prem, staying in Prem, competing in Prem. So I look up to him a lot. I look up to obviously Neo. Everyone looks up to Neo. You can't not. Junior Hayden is a really, really good coach. He's the head coach at Kings. Tay, who I play with at Hornets now, who's just an absolute beast and a baller, but he's just a natural leader. He's kind of one of them players that he came to Kent, and the first thing he said to me was he just wants to keep his head down, play, and just enjoy the game. Because he was a captain at Hornets, and he was one of the founding players at Hornet. And I said to him, leaders can't do that.
Yeah.
If you're a leader, you lead. You can't help it. I think, and people start to look to him. Amari was the same. Miguel, I've got a lot. Miguel Pascal Johnson, he's a fantastic player. There's loads. Big V Amika.
Yeah.
Got me into sport. I've got so much love for that guy. There's just an absolute bunch of players that I look up to that took the time with me for loads of different reasons. And I've been really lucky to be around the people that I have. It's given me a bigger love for the sport.
Okay. So you've obviously named a lot of coaches and players. So if you had to, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. If to rank them, so we're gonna do the coaches first. If you had to rank the coaches that you mentioned, who would you say had the most impact in your playing career so far?
It's got to be John Moore, only because I've been with him the longest. So he's had the most influence over me. Obviously Neo, I think it's hard with Neo. I think there's a lot of people that, I only had a year with him, but just the amount I learned in that year was crazy. And the amount he brought to it, I think everyone could say the same. Then Coach Junior was the same. He kind of took us and pushed us as a D line even further than we were at the time, and he took us a long way. So yeah, I think John Moore would have to be top, but I've been around him the longest. He's had the most influence over me playing.
Okay. And for the players?
I think V. bro, when I joined Exiles, I was never the shy retiring type anyway. But I think when you join, you keep your head down, you keep your mouth shut, you learn, you try and contribute, and you build. V was the first person there to like shake my hand. He was the first person there to kind of bring me through. And consistently, he's played at top level teams. He's a tough O lineman to go against. He's just a top guy. He loves the sport. Like I've got a lot of love for V and a lot of respect for him. And I think, despite me being close with Fab Five, I love those boys too, and I have a hell of a lot of respect for them all. I think V's up there. Obviously Tay and like I explained, and Miggs and Amari and that. But and there's some young players coming through. I think Ian Whitehead, Danny Rayburn, and people like that at Exiles. I've got a lot of respect for them too, because they're trying to get the Kent to that next level.
Yeah.
And they know what they need to do, and they're working hard for it. So I've got a lot of respect for that.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, what strengths? See, well, we've talked about these players, but what strengths do you believe that you have to make you a great athlete, or do you need to have to make yourself a great athlete?
Ooh. See, this is a tough one. I think a great athlete. I think you need a mentality is different. We all know we need to train. You need to be in the gym and stuff. That's not anything that we don't know about. But to be great, I think you just need that consistency and that mindset that it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if you get knocked out or you lose a game or whatever. You're just going to keep coming back, keep getting after it, and just being stubborn. I don't want to say not giving up because it's cliche, but that just being stubborn and being. I think you need to be quite selfish to be a great athlete.
Yeah.
I think you need to be very focused and single-minded. I think you need to be like that in relationships, to be like, it has to be about me, because, if like the guys going to the NFL pathway and stuff, there's only one chance you're getting at this. You're not getting another one. So you have to be quite selfish and kind of block out all the bullshit.
Yeah.
To be great.
Okay. So, in that case, seeing as we've done that, so what do you believe is the greatest challenge that most athletes are facing today?
Opportunity.
Okay.
Opportunity. I think in our sport, if we're talking about athletes in general, I think in the especially in the UK, depending on what sport you do, the opportunities are limited. If we're in the States, the opportunities are huge. I think the opportunities for guys here, I mean, I can think of a few players, I'm sure you can, from Blitz and Warriors and stuff, that actually, if they were to go to the States, and get that coaching out there and progress out there, we'd end up seeing them in NFL jerseys without a shadow of a doubt. And I know that, I know James Cook, who's top tier quarterback from Kent, he's now in the NFL pathway and stuff, and he's trying to make those opportunities. But I think it's just getting that exposure for players. I think there's a lot of players here with the ability and the desire to do it. I just think we need to get them out there and get the right people seeing them, so they get these opportunities. It's happening more.
Yes.
It is happening more, but we need to keep pressing that.
Okay, so obviously with all the opportunities that have come about in everything now, so you've got the NFL pathway, you've got the NFL Academy, CFL, obviously you've got Germany that you can go play in, you've got obviously the teams in Europe that you can play in, and now you've got the ELF. How do you feel that, with all of these things coming out, do you feel that the UK brand will be able to grow and compete with everything that's coming along? Or do you think that everyone's going to be like, the UK brand's not taking us anywhere, all the best talented players just decide to go abroad and play?
I think at the moment it's like that. It's going to stay like that until, like you say, we can grow the black brand. I think what we need to do is aim for. I mean, we went from filling out Wembley once a year to filling out Wembley or Twickenham. We went 4 times a year. There's a desire for football in this country, but obviously there's no professional teams. There's no way for anyone to make a living. So, you can't blame these players for wanting to go and do what they love and get paid to do it. And, we can't offer them the opportunity here. But I do think the fan base is here that is gradually making it more and more justifiable for teams to, at the end of the day, people would pay a ticket price to see, I don't know, Warriors and the Blitz, or the Warriors and Tamworth and stuff like that. Maybe not so much kind of like the Warriors and I don't know, whoever else. Yeah. But, and we need to start making, putting some revenue back into these clubs and start making it so we can grow it here, because it will give players an incentive to stay here. But at the minute, the only chance they've got is to go abroad. So we need to look at what Germany are doing, look at what Europe are doing, and start to grow that, which I think the EFL is trying to do. I don't know too much about it, but it seems to me like that's what their plan is.
Yeah. Okay. So that does make a lot of sense. So you've been a captain for Kent. How was it? How did you feel when that got announced to you?
Bro, you broke. Sorry, that the connection went.
Oh, so you were announced captain at Kent.
Yeah.
When you got that announcement, how did it make you feel?
Well, see, I don't know how other teams do it, but at Kent, the players pick it every year. Or they did at camp. I mean, at COVID, it stopped, but the players picked it every year. I don't know if that's the same for other teams. So, I was really proud of it. I was really happy. I think you feel like it made me feel like the work I've been putting in, because I started this sport kind of a little bit later than most. So I was working hard and stuff, and I was happy. And the fact that I kept getting picked as captain as well just kind of justified the work that I was putting in. And I was really proud of it. I still am proud. I think I've mentioned it here already, but it's nice to be picked to captain, and I was stoked with it.
Oh, that's good. That's so obviously, and that you were captain there for how many years?
4. My last 4, 5.
Wow. So obviously you made that pact with Omari and the guys. What was it? The Fab Five?
Yeah. So this we get a lot of heat for this. We get a lot of heat, but this was Neo's fault, right? So I think Omari will tell his story better than me probably, but from what I got from it, because everyone used to go to Omari. Yeah. Everyone would go to Omari because he makes him sort of like, everyone knows him, he's a personality and stuff. And obviously they came to Kent. A friend of ours, Tom Cole, came back to Kent, and Tom's a beast. He's just an absolute, like, he's a monster. And Kent started to do quite well in Division 1, so it all kind of gelled up. And Neo was on the recruit for Olympians. And I think what Amari had done is he had spent some pre-season before coming to Exiles training with the Olympians. He did a little bit of a little tour. You get your free training sessions with each team. So he might have even come to the Blitz for a bit. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. But he, so he went there, and he was talking, and Neo said about, I think it was him, Tay, Miggs, me, and Tom, and then started teasing the Mario about it being the Fab Five, and then it kind of just took on from there. And now we just get all sorts of stick about it. But it is what it is. It's stuck. It's us. But and then we did well. Tay went back, and then we all said that at some point we go Hornets and see what it was like to all play in Div 1 at Hornets, and now we are.
Okay. So did you get any backlash from any of your teammates when you said that you're heading to the Hornets instead of staying at Exiles, as you were voted as a captain? No backlash. There was a couple of players I think that were quite shocked about it. I think simply because I thought I was done. Like, I intended to be done. I said to him, I was going to hang it up and things, and then started coaching. But I don't know. I don't know how it ended up coming about. I think I spoke to P. P is like ultimate gas man. Ultimate gas man. Love you thinking you're JJ Watt out here, but so he was talking, and I just wasn't ready to stop. So now was a good time to go back. I felt like I'd achieved what I could in my time at Kent, or I helped them achieve what I could in my time at Kent. They were trying to get me to go back there. Yeah. But I just felt like it was like I say, I feel like I stayed maybe a season too long anyway. And I just wanted to do it for me. This is where I wanted to play. I wanted to experience playing for another team. I wanted to experience playing with another bunch of players. And to be honest, it couldn't have gone better. Like, I couldn't be happier with it. Okay, cool. All right, so before we finish the second part, I want you to rank your top 5 priorities currently in your life right now.
In my life?
Yeah, just in life.
Jeez. I don't know. Wow. My priorities in life. I think. Well, I'm moving house up north, so
Yeah.
number one priority is got to be. Um, no, actually, let me jot that down. Number one priority is always health. But for me, family, everybody I know, success for them. Personal priorities are um, obviously successfully moving house. I want it to get into Prem.
Hmm.
Um, but bro, I'm simple. Like my life's simple. I'm genuinely like happy. Like I wouldn't change anything. My life's nice and relaxed. I'm happy with consistency. Like I've got good people right around me. I'm happy with where I'm at. So if nothing changes, as long as it doesn't get any worse, man, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay.